Now let's start about this creating. We have done North Virginia example, and it's going to ask you about ACL, enable or disable, two options. So basically I said that go for disable here, and then we have to go forward. It's going to ask you about make bucket as what? As public, or you can say private. If you disable it, it will become private. If you enable it, it becomes public. Uncheck to make it what? Public. Then it asks what? Versioning. It's good to go for enable it if you are hosting a website. If you're not hosting a website, you want to create some bucket for only for private kind of thing, legal documents and insurance, then you can go for this versioning. And then it will go off for what? Encryption. Rest level encryption. Data whenever stored, it need to be encrypted to protect from the hackers. So the data should not be what? It's not going to be tempered. Temper means modify. Someone should not temper or someone should not disturb my data. That's why I need to make a what? Encryption. So this way, even you have option what? Enable delete protection. You need to enable this. In EC2 also we have a enable delete protection, termination protection, because of what? Accidentally if I delete, it's going to be seconds. It's going to be quickly. There's no recycle bin. So it's good to go for what? Enable delete protection. If you delete an access accidentally, it will ask, cannot delete, you have to disable the option, you have to delete it. At least you have a time to remember what you're doing. So it's good to have this. This way you have this option, name, region, ACL, public, private, versioning, encryption, and enable it, right? Lock. You can say lock. Now, done. So your choice, how do you create it? I'm going to with S3 services to show public, private, and I already showed that even I have to go forward. Today, next topic, how to host a website. How to host a website in S3 quickly. So it's going to be what? Cheapest, quickest, easy to host. How to do that? What do you require? So what you have to do is, number one step, create a bucket. Which bucket? Make it public. Enable versioning because you want to host a website. One. Number two, you're going to do what? Open the bucket. Go to upload option. Select website files, all files and directory. You say folder, drag and drop. In bucket. Once you have done this, and you say what? In the properties, permission, it will have what? You have to say public, right? Make it public and read permission. So once you have done this public, that means the content should be public. Bucket is public different, content should be a public. Then you have to create it, upload it, done. Next, let's go what? Next step is what? You have to enable it. Enable hosting. How to do that? The bucket what you have created, properties of the bucket, scroll down, enable hosting, document, name is what? Index.html. In all files of the website, you'll find landing page name called index.html. You have to give index.html here, and you have to say what? Create. Enable. Done. Your job is done. Third one is what? Testing. Accessing website externally, public. Copy endpoint URL of S3 bucket, what you have enabled, and paste into what? Into browser. You will see site. So let's see. I already created legal documents, insurance, and I said university.london.com. And I did not upload anything. I think uploaded, right? The contents uploaded. Okay, now I'll just delete all those things to show you again. Delete. Once it's deleted, you have an object, properties, permissions, metrics, management, access point. We'll see these options, when to use. First, objects. Upload the contents, add the files. I have a download, or I have a kind of desktop. In this I have a projects. I have a filter options. I have these files. File and folder. Select it and scroll down and drag and drop. Don't say open, drag and drop. And the permission you have to make what? Public. But it's saying bucket owner enforce. That means you have not given the options there. If I click on this, it will go for settings. You have to say SEL enable. If you say enable, it will allow you to make public and private, or else you have to use what? Scripting point. So I'm coming here up to here. Again I have to upload because of the changes I did not go.
Look, what is there in this one?
Drag and drop. I got 193 files, and the size of the one website is what? 8.4 MB. In the permission you find what option? Private or public? I want to say what? Public. So once you upload it, the content will be uploaded as a public, because whenever you create a bucket also need to have choose that private or public, and here also you have to choose what? A private and public. That means the content should be public whenever you upload it, so it can be browsed. Now just wait. I already given a like diagram, I think. Here you see you have S3 bucket, S3 service like cloud. In the cloud account you have a what? S3 service. Under that you have a what? Buckets. So I have this bucket and I have one more bucket. I want to host two websites, so I need to get two host website, two buckets. This is my UI developer, and you can say front-end developer to develop the website, static website. When I say backend developer, who works on Java, PHP, Python, dynamic applications. So now they have given website 1 contains and website 2 contains. So what I have to do? I have to create this bucket as a public. Then I have to drag and drop here. Second website. The contents you have to drag and drop. Now this is your public users who want to access the website. So whenever they want to access the website, they can access the website from here. Two people are accessing this website too. They can access because I made a public. So directly the endpoint, by using the endpoint of that URL, endpoint URL of S3, the people can access the website. So this way. Let's see practically is done or not. We are into like uploading the contents. After uploading, only just enable the bucket as a word hosting. That's it. In EC2 we have seen we have like Linux, Windows. You have to install required packages. You have to set permissions. Then you have to update the contents. That means you should have a lot of things, knowledge, skills, good knowledge. So I said EC2 is best for what? Dynamic application. But for static website, the best choice is S3. Done. Now go to the properties. Scroll down. You have option called what? Static website. Disable. You have to just enable it. Index.html. Error page I don't have. That's why I'm just leaving. Done. Once you have done, scroll down, you'll find a URL. If you click it, you should see the website contains what you have uploaded just now. Oh, it's saying that. Services, barbershop, about, blogs, contact. So these are the websites. It's browsing well. So now I have done with the help of what this bucket and this S3 service, we are able to do very fast. So now, once you have done this, you have another ticket. Some work you gotta given like work that to host a website. Some work is basically to get private and public bucket to store the confidential data. Now, what you have to do is create a life cycle, policy for reducing cost, and replication of what? Bucket contains on one region to another region. So how to do that? The policy, lifecycle policy and replication, two options are there in S3. So basically for what? If you want to create high availability between regions, if the region where you have stored the data in S3, North Virginia, if it is gone, then your complete data is gone. So it's good to go for what? as a backup, you have to create one more bucket in Ohio, then you have to integrate, you have to migrate the data from Ohio to North Virginia. This way you go. Now, before going to life cycle is basically what? Classes of S3 storage. Basically comes under what? Standard, AI standard, that means infrequent access, IA. Standard, one zone class, glacier class. If you want to store the data and you don't care about that it should be what in a standard IA or zone 1 zone or something, and you want to just transfer to glacier. Glacier is an archive solution where it needs a lot of caring. The pricing will be low. Why we have these storage classes? The pricing. Example, 0.18 US dollar per GB. So AI will have what? IA will have what? 0.1 or 0.08. Again, if I go for this, so what is this? 0.8. But what is the difference? Why Amazon create what? One zone A. That means Amazon not able to keep that particular zones in the multiple zones because of what? That basically one zone for security reason. I don't want anyone can touch my laptop or desktop. So basically, I want to keep my data in S3 or my server should be what? Stop. Lock and do that, right? Stop it. So Glacier is a very low cost but slow. And IA standard is going to be a little bit slow, but reliable. Reliable means what? It can automatically copy itself into multiple zones. That means if one zone also of Amazon got damaged or it's not working, it's not healthy, then again one more zone can be used. That's why before going to life cycle, you should understand the cycle of what? Standard classes of what? S3. So now, why I do this example? You're going for a legal document insurance in private bucket, and you store daily some kind of legal document or insurance document. You do. But now, the project manager says that this insurance and legal document can be used up to what? 1 month. After that, we are not going to use much. So when he says that, I want to go for what? I want to have a schedule. That means after 30 days, the first 30 days it will keep in what? It will kept under what? Standard class. That means high speed. Millions of people can connect and the speed will not have degradation. And IA, infrequent access. Amazon says that after 30 days, there may be not needed for every department. Only few departments can access this data. So, if you store in a standard, it's going to charge 0.1 US dollar or $0.USD dollar example. Why not to keep into IA infrequent access standard? So it's going to work low cost because public is not there, the traffic is not there. Yes, it's wise idea. And Amazon says when example, when the data, like here after 30 days, I'm keeping what into IA. Then after 30 days, like again, I want to keep into Amazon. The manager says what? Keep it at least 60 days. Keep it 60 days, and after 60 days, mostly no department is going to use the data. So it's not infrequent also. It's no department is going to know. Maybe per year or per 6 months they may use it. It's not frequent or infrequent. So Amazon says we have a one zone, and it says that a project man after this kind of like infrequent access standard, if you move it, and after 2 months also, we don't require, even if this loss also, there is no problem with the business. So I'll prefer what? One zone, because standard and IA, it is a kind of durable, high durable, which store the data in a multiple zones. But only the difference is speed and the cost. But one zone, the cost is very low, but it does not give durability. With data loss, data loss. So that means the one zone loss and data loss. So now it's good to go for what? One zone, when you did not have an like here, you're not going to use that particular zone and it's not important data now. So even though you want to keep it for a while, you can go for what? One zone. Now, Amazon says that you have a glacier. When to use this type of storage type? So what I'll do is, when I do not require the data and the speed is not matter because your backup cannot be used regularly, right? Cannot be used regularly. So what I need is, Amazon says no worries. We have one more service called what? What is that? Service called what? Glacier. Glacier is a kind of archive solution where you use for storing the data which is stale. That means which is not needed for 1 year, 3 years. You are guaranteed that it is not required to anybody. Maybe in 1 year, 3 years you may require, but entire process, entire project, you don't require it. So when you're having a long duration, you go for what? Glacier. Archive means compress. You have at 50 files, you compress into file 50 into 1. That is called what? Archive. And glacier also. 1, 2, 3, 4. I hope you got it. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Now, how to do this? Go to S3, go to buckets. I have these legal documents. I have the option called what? Properties you see here. And we have a permission management. In the management, you have what? Lifecycle rule. I'll do what? Unique name I want to give. Limit the scope. Rule using one-hour filters or apply all filters. When I say rule, I have to give what? Which type of, like here, data you have. You have a JPG file, you have a audio file, you have video file, which is allowed, which is not allowed. Everything is here. We can define it. If you don't want to apply filter, you want to say whatever the upload in the S3 bucket, whether it's photo, audio, video, PDF or anything. So I may be available, right? Apply to all objects in the bucket. I need to go forward, apply to all the buckets. So now when I say this, it's saying lifecycle rules. I want to say move current version of object between storage classes. I want that data is maintaining, and I want that it should be maintained, and it's going to swap one class to the class. So how it's possible? Through bucket policy. Bucket policy make automation. We don't require to come and change that particular data, uploading and just saying that go to this location, go to this service, go to this bucket. No, or just enable it. Automatically it works with the source and destination option. That's the beauty and easiest part of what? S3 services. Now, transition current version. I said yes, transit. So it's saying that it's going which option first? Standard IA, because whenever you store the data, it will go to what? Standard with a good performance. But your choice, if you want to keep in a standard IA, your manager guidelines that keep 2 months here, keep 3 months here, keep 4 months here. So you have to move here and there. When the project is near to complete, definitely people are not going to use more. When it's complete, I don't require it, but I need a backup. If something in future required, I can restore it. Snapshot. So now, standard IA intelligent tiering. Intelligent tiering means I'm not going to guess. The application, the service will guess about your tires and like anything like your maintenance part. Now same thing here in the logical components. We have a called word intelligent tiering. It will sense all this kind of. That means it will sense all of that kind of what data transaction. Who are transferring the data to S3, it will check date and timestamp. Then it will go forward. Execution, whether it's required or not. If it is not required, it will not give any options. Now, what I have to select? Standard I. Day of the creation. That means 30 days. After 30 days of the creation of the first object, it need to what? Create one more bucket. Choose change class duration, transition. Add values. In add values, you have option called whatever the options here. So I'm saying, okay, no problem. I want this too. And finally, I want to do what? Now, you done this, and then after this 30 days, here we have given 30 days. Now, you say 90 days. That means, in a standard, it will go for what? 30 days. After 30 days, it will go for standard IA. That means in standard IA, it will go for 30 days. After 30 days. After this, it's going to keep to 60 days because the next class is going to go out integer tiering. And I said, what 90 days? That means the data should be stored into standard IA for 2 months. 60 days, then it need to go for what? Intelligent tiering. Then you have to say what? After that, where do you want to go? I'll say what? One zone. And I'll say what? 120. So you can see that 90 plus 30 is going to be 120. So if I say the duration, it will say it is already mentioned 30 days, 90 days, and now 120 days. So it will say that they already space allocation that days after object creation is what? 30 days, 90 days, and 120 days is equal to that. So you have to give what? 200. If you not give 200, if I say 120 or 110, it will give option what? So now, when I say create, so it's going to say what? After creating of the first object, first folder, first file, whatever it is available, it will go for 30 days, 60 days, and 120 days into their like system. So you have to store, you have to maintain the data privacy and all those things. So it's possible through what? A kind of policy, a bucket policy, and because of the durability and then high availability I want to maintain, I'll use what? A kind of replication process. So now, is enable here, life cycle will work. When it automatically it will swap the data from one class to another class automatically. No need to bother about from your side. You just create a bucket, you set a permission, that's enough automatically, and then you do the troubleshooting. Then automatically all the setup will be completed and it's going to be easy to manage for you. Done? Any questions here? Do you want to answer questions on this?
No, sir.
Hello.
No, sir.
Yes. It's clear up to here?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Clear? And pen paper should be must. It's very important to understand this concept. Now I have done this. Now I want to do what? I want to go for replication. I have some kind of permissions options, bucket policy. That's going to be YAML script. How to create YAML script for the like your cloud service, right? S3 bucket, and how to control it from the security. That means how to make security an eye into that particular kind of documents. So if you all these things, if you need, you can say metrics, where you can find what the space of that particular bucket, the size and space. And permission, if you want to make public private, you can do again. Property means you enable disable website, you enable disable versioning, this all those things. And again you have what? Some kind of metrics here. There is metrics management. Yes, he's saying that life skill credit is created. So this way we have done about S3 and S3 private bucket and public bucket, hosting a website, and enable disable your kind of enable disable of your replication or your life cycle. That means your kind of what you can see life cycle and then replication. These are the things you have to enable disable on the base of the client requirement. They need more durability, you have to go for recycle, like replication process. And when you have that particular storage costs, if you want to save it, automatically you want that it's going to be 100 buckets. I don't want to go for manual. I want this automatically switch to one class to the class internally to reduce the cost. Then I can use what? Life cycle. So this way we go. And tomorrow we have some few labs on this. How to integrate Lambda. What are events? We're going to understand this. So other things also there, we'll explain. Once you are good in the S3, private, public, permissions and all those things, it's going to be easily you can move. So now, I'll just conclude the session now. We'll continue by tomorrow. But I need your result of the EC2 services, ELB and auto scaling and all those things. Then you have to go for what? You have to go for your S3, creating private and public buckets, and how to enable the hosting. Right? These are the things you have to connect, you have to see. I'm concluding sessions, so we'll see you later.
Thank you, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay?
Thank you, sir.